What if your mineral routine is quietly turning your soil into a locked vault where nutrients exist, but plants can't touch them? The truth about Epsom salts is not that they're useless, it's that they're powerful enough to become destructive when used blindly, and most garden beds are suffering not from deficiency, but from overload. Epsom salt, chemically known as magnesium sulfate, has been passed down as a universal cure-all for tired plants, yellow leaves, and weak harvests. But that advice has created a silent epidemic of mineral imbalance. Yellowing leaves are often blamed on magnesium deficiency, yet in many soils the opposite is happening. Magnesium is already abundant, and adding more only deepens the problem. This is where the concept of nutrient lockout comes into play. When one mineral dominates, it forms an invisible barrier that prevents others from being absorbed. So instead of feeding your plants, repeated Epsom applications can create a chemical wall that blocks essential nutrients right at the root surface. Magnesium doesn't act alone. In the soil, it competes directly with calcium and potassium for uptake. When magnesium levels climb too high, it begins to crowd out these vital elements, especially calcium. The result is a plant that looks thirsty, weak, and structurally compromised, even in moist soil. Imagine roots trying to drink, but every pathway is clogged with excess salts. Water movement slows, cell walls weaken, and growth stalls. This is why blossom end rot shows up even when you're watering consistently. Calcium is present in the soil, but magnesium is blocking access. Beneath the surface, roots are fighting a losing battle for balance, and that struggle shows up above ground as stunted growth and poor yields. The real key to fixing this problem lies in understanding cation exchange capacity, often called CEC. Think of your soil as a storage system with a finite number of parking spaces for nutrients. Calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium all compete for those spaces. When the system is already full, adding more magnesium doesn't help, it forces imbalance. In low CEC sandy soils, nutrients wash away quickly, while in high CEC clay soils, excess minerals can build up to toxic levels. Without knowing your soil's capacity, adding Epsom salt is like pouring water into a full container and expecting it to stay. This is where soil testing becomes a turning point. It reveals not just what's present, but what's dominating. Instead of guessing, you begin to work with the soil's actual chemistry. If your soil is already overloaded, the goal is not to add more, it's to restore balance. Gentle, deep watering over time helps flush excess salts downward without stripping away life. The focus is on gradual correction, not shock. Then comes calcium buffering. Adding natural calcium sources helps push magnesium out of dominance and reopen nutrient pathways. As calcium levels stabilize, roots regain their ability to absorb water efficiently, and microbial life begins to rebuild the soil structure from within. Organic matter plays a critical role here. Compost acts like a sponge and a regulator, increasing CEC while supporting beneficial microbes that help rebalance minerals naturally. Instead of forcing nutrients, you're rebuilding a system that can manage them. When cation balance is restored, the transformation is unmistakable. Leaves become thicker, darker, and more resilient. Fruits develop with better density, flavor, and shelf life. Growth becomes steady instead of erratic. This is where gardening shifts from reaction to calibration. Seasonal soil testing replaces guesswork, and mineral inputs become precise rather than habitual. Epsom salt is no longer a routine addition. It becomes a targeted tool, used only when a true deficiency is confirmed. The path forward is simple but powerful. Stop feeding the myth, and start reading the soil. When you align mineral balance with your soil's natural capacity, you don't just fix a problem. You unlock a self-sustaining, high-performance growing environment that improves with every season. Subscribe to Timeless Humus Path for more ways to turn living soil into a resilient, nutrient-dense powerhouse that keeps giving back year after year.